it is unbelievable, but for Donald Trump, I think you have to understand that his tabloid personality that he developed back in the 90s is now coming back to haunt him. This is the man who wanted the headlines that Madonna wanted to date him. This is the man, ladies' man, who during his nasty divorce to first wife Ivana, when he was involved with Marla Maples, his girlfriend, there were sensational headlines in the newspaper, the best sex I ever had from the girlfriend. So it seems all these years later that this hush money case involving sex and cover-ups and money is now really hitting Donald where it hurts.
Indeed. Take us through what is likely to happen today.
What's going to happen today, of course, is jury selection. This is step one. And for Donald Trump, the cards are stacked against him. Here in Manhattan, New York, where jury selection is taking place, 87% of the of Manhattanites had voted for Joe Biden in the last election. So the pool that they're drawing from to find fair and balanced jurors is going to be difficult for the Trump side. The jurors are going to be under a great deal of scrutiny. They're going to have to answer 42 different questions. The judge has said that the jurors will not be asked whether they're Republicans or Democrats. However, they will be asked what type of news, where do they get their news from? Do they belong to any groups that have supported Donald Trump, like the Proud Boys? They're going to be very specific as to the makeup of the jury. Now, Donald Trump's side, of course, would prefer to have individuals that have not attended college, that are minorities, that are younger. The prosecution side, of course, is looking for educated individuals. They're looking for older women and men. So it's going to take at least, we believe, a week to sit a jury of 12 and then 6 alternates.
That's extraordinary. How significant in your mind, Barry, is it that there are quite a few former Trump employees now on the prosecution's list?
Well, one who really jumps out that is really expected to be the most credible is Hope Hicks. Hope was Donald Trump's communications director when he was in the White House. And she's already testified in Washington in front of a congressional hearing related to some of this. So she has already indicated that she was aware at the time of what was going on in the wake of the infamous Access Hollywood tape. They were desperate at that time to shut down any problems before Election Day, which was coming up. And then, of course, you had the threat from the adult film star, porn star Stormy Daniels, that she was going to tell all. And of course, Donald Trump's fixer and personal attorney, Michael Cohen, was desperate to shut her up and finally had to write a check to her for $130,000 US. Hope Hicks is going to testify about her involvement about that. And there's going to be some others. Madeleine Westerhouse, who had been the kind of the gatekeeper in the Oval Office, who was aware of who Donald Trump spoke to every day. She is going to be testifying. Rona Graff, his longtime personal assistant for decades, going back to those days that I mentioned, those old tabloid days here in New York that Donald Trump was involved in back in the 90s. She's going to testify. Michael Cohen's going to testify. So there are going to be a lot of players that the public is going to be familiar with.
Yeah, indeed. He's tried almost every delaying tactic there is known to the legal system. Is there any chance there could be some distraction or surprise today before the jury is, you go through that process of trying to select a jury?
No, Bev, I think that his side has played all their cards. There's been a dozen attempts of various forms to try to get him off of this or to try to have this delayed. But the judge, Juan Merchan, has been very consistent in wanting to bring this case to trial. This is one of the 4 criminal cases that Donald Trump faces here in America, and most likely it's the only one that we're going to actually see take place before the November election.
He, of course, is characterising this as election interference, that he will tell the truth. That's what he always does, which we know not to be the truth. How does he walk this tightrope? He's been told very clearly to be very careful of how he manages, the public side of these court cases.
Well, in this particular case, Donald Trump has said that, of course, while he's being railroaded, that this is a witch hunt against him, that he plans to take the stand. He plans to, he says, defend himself against all of this. And that is really going to be one of the things when we finally get to testimony, maybe the bombshell in this case when Donald Trump is actually put on the witness stand. And as we know from depositions he's given, from some of the past cases, he is an awful individual on a stand because he can go off in so many different directions, and it's possible that the prosecutors could tie him up in different lies. So, again, this is something that not only is he trying to defend himself and keep himself out of jail, he's trying to keep his marriage to Melania going here. There's going to be so much salacious material that's going to be revealed that it is going to be devastating for her. It is going to be embarrassing for her. And of course, we'll see if she even shows up during the course of the trial, which is supposed to last 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, and to your point, Barry, this is a lot about money and whether he paid off this money or how he represented this money that was paid off to Stormy Daniels. But do you think this is also going to take the opportunity to go to the character of Donald Trump when it comes to his behaviour with women?
Oh, there's absolutely no question about that. I wrote a book about his long predatory history with women. These relationships with Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, the playmate, the former Playboy playmate, which is also going to play into this. She alleges a 10-month affair with Donald Trump. She's going to very likely testify against about that in open court. Stormy Daniels is also going to testify. So it is going to be extremely devastating. As I said, you're going to get into salacious details. Stormy is going to be asked about the night they had sex in Lake Tahoe when Donald Trump showed up in black pajamas and silk black pajamas and slippers. And she said, what are you, trying to be Hugh Hefner? I mean, you're going to hear some outrageous things in the first prosecution of a former president of the United States. It is going to be absolutely ridiculous.
I feel that your book is going to need another edition, Barry.
or possibly a shower after all this is over.
Yeah, to keep yourself nice and clean. Always great.
Yeah.
We'll watch as it plays out. Fantastic to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Bev.